If someone you know, especially someone in your close family, has a diagnosed depression, what should you as a caregiver be on the lookout for? The most important thing which I recommend to caregivers is that you are there as support systems. You're not treating doctors. I do not want you to give too much of unnecessary advice. I do not want you to say things which would make the patient feel pressurized because he's a victim of an illness. But you are there to provide emotional and social support to him. When he says that I'm feeling hopeless, I'm feeling helpless, he expresses suicidal intent, he expresses suicidal thoughts. The silliest thing that a caregiver can say is, "Oh, come on, you don't mean it. You cannot do this." That is very, very silly. It is silly because what a statement like this represents to me is that it is a cry for help. The patient is begging you to help him. If you are dismissive about it even once, the second time he or she is going to be doubly cautious. He would say that, "Oh, the last time I told them that I was feeling miserable, they just laughed at me. Why should I bother and tell them again how I'm feeling?" So instead of being able to share his or her innermost thoughts or feelings with you, they remain bottled up inside. And if they remain bottled up, they are always going to explode in some form or the other at some point in time or the other. So give as much support as you can. Put your arm around his shoulder, ruffle his ear, give him a kiss, and tell him that we need to go to a doctor. Let's find a good doctor who will understand what you're going through, and we promise you that we are there with you every step of the way. Then you take the person to the doctor. The doctor, the chances are, would prescribe some medicines. It is my advice, both to the patient and to the caregiver, that the medicine should be kept with the caregiver. They should be kept with a caregiver, they should be given under supervision, and the doctor should tell this to both the patient and the caregiver over and over again, so that the patient does not feel that the caregiver is forcing him to be away from his medicines, and the caregiver also understands his responsibility. If the depression is severe, the chances are that the person could be suicidal. It's a good idea to not leave him unattended 24 hours of the day till he starts to come out of the depression. It would be a good idea to try and help him to occupy his time in any way possible. Do not look only for constructive ways. Maybe he wants to watch TV, just sit there. If he says something to you, hear him out. He might not want to talk. Don't nag him unnecessarily. Telling someone 5 times in 20 minutes, "Why don't you get up and take a shower? It'll make you feel better." You are making him more aware of his inadequacy, because all his life that person has showered on his own, he's eaten on his own, he's changed clothes on his own, he's gone for a walk on his own, he's played, he's interacted with people, he's called friends over, he's gone for parties. Today he cannot do it because there is a reason. Would you tell a person who has a fracture in his leg, "Oh, you were a brilliant sprinter once, why don't you run a 100 meters race?" That guy would say, to forget sprinting, forget running a race, I would be happy if I could just stand up without using a walking stick. If I could, if I had the technology available, I would do a scan for the patient and show it to the caregivers and show, look at this. This is probably a kind of a fracture that has taken place in some part of the brain. Just because you and I cannot see does not mean that this person does not have a physical illness. And since he has a physical illness, we have to give him all the time and the support that he needs to recover. These are very, very important tips for caregivers, and I really wish that anyone who's watching this, you should assimilate what I'm saying. You should store it inside your head, inside your brain, so that you can implement it as soon as you get back home.